Landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And yes, there's 80 pounds of Parmesan cheese in your dishwasher. And no, I'm not answering questions about it. But last night we did a live stream and we went in on the Cold Steel 1911. So let's take a look at what we got here first. And first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. Gryvex handles, got a flipper tab. Let's flick the bean. 3-inch clip point blade and a liner lock. And it's $23.47 on Amazon right now, and that Amazon listing is a little weird. So the entire listing, everywhere that there is a spec for the steel, it says 4034 stainless, like all the way down. However, the blade is it says 4116 as marked on the steel itself. Some of the guys in chat said that Cold Steel does have stuff like that. Well, they'll run two different steels on the same knife, which might be what happened here, but I'm a little confused. I've had listings where you have different steels marked in different parts, and the blade steel marked on the blade lines up with the stuff they copy pasted from the manufacturer. And then it'll be the wrong steel up in the header, but this had everything lined up and looked legit. So I can only assume maybe this is a different run than the one they pulled the specs off of. I don't know. Someone here knows more than I do about it. But that 4116 was an interesting experience. So we went in and started on Cardboard Slayer, and we went about 2.5-ish hours before the edge started to really crap out. So the cuts were fairly good to start off with, and they did kind of quickly start deteriorating, especially like that first hour. We did a bit more than knocking the fine part of the apex out. The next hour and a half, it just kind of, you can watch it degrade in real time. We stopped and sharpened it, and I broke out the work sharp, put an 18-degree edge on it, and the steel was kind of weird there too. I never could get a burr that I could feel to come up. I ended up putting the dry erase marker on there, removing it with the stones, and kept going until I was just confident that I'd removed all the material and we had our apex set. Move on to the next one. And that did get it really sharp. And we went back in on it, and we kind of saw similar rates of degradation. Like at that first hour, we were at about the exact same place as the first hour on the factory edge. And then through the next hour-ish, it did break down a good bit, more than we've had on 8CR13 or anything else that we've put the new edge on. So on the factory edge, it kept up with 8CR13, and then on the 18-degree edge, it broke down a little bit faster. One of the things that I was told is the 4116 is a very soft steel, and I saw that. Part of the edge rolled off of the Cardboard Slayer. We finished up the live stream, and I looked, and the edge was rolled right in here, and it stropped out. Like, I was able to strop that roll out, but it rolled. And, one thing that was explained to me is that 4116 is better served for choppers, big heavy blades that you can put an obtuse angle on, and not for something this small. Like, that is a weird decision. And 18 degrees looks like it was a bit too fine of an edge. It probably needed to be at like 20 degrees or maybe even 22. Like, if I could go back and do this again knowing what I know now, I would have probably gone for 20 degrees. It's a strange thing. 4116 is apparently not suitable for small blades with a fine edge, and they went ahead and did it anyways. And like, the surface on this is a lot more hazed out than we normally get with scratches from the cardboard. You can kind of see it right there. Like, that's some of the worst hazing from those scratches off of that cardboard that I've seen so far. This is a soft steel. Like, this is a kind of about what I was expecting out of the steel on the the Rough Rider. And yeah, the Rough Rider held up fine, but this thing definitely showed the abuse. And yeah, it's a weird case. So I'm not happy with the fact that the steel broke down that fast. Like, for me personally, my day-to-day use, it would still take a little while to wear out. But if I had to push it very hard through anything, I'd be looking at the edge rolling or, something like that. It's not going to chip out. It's not going to snap. It's going to roll. And, this might be intended for guys that are outside and they're using these things for really hard use where you can't afford to have the blade chip out or snap. But you have better options for that aren't that expensive. Maybe this is for guys that can break an anvil with a rubber hammer. Like, I don't know. I can't see a use case scenario for something this small and this fine to end up, with steel this soft. Like, I can't think of a good reason for it. And again, maybe someone knows more than I do, but just so damn weird. Now, ergonomically, it did great. My hand never saw the first bit of real discomfort or anything else. And a lot of it is this dingus right here fills the gap where this callus gets wedged into the channel on the back here in between the liners and gets chewed to pieces. So that was definitely good. Like, we went, it was a 5-hour live stream. You know, we had to stop and sharpen it and all that. But, you know, normally that part of my hand right here is absolutely annihilated and glowing bright red for a day or so afterwards. I don't have that here, so that is definitely a very nice thing to have happen. You know, if you had to push this through a lot of hard cuts, your hand would be at least more protected than on most knives. So yeah, like, I still like everything about this except for the blade steel. You know, like, I dare you to make less sense. I don't understand why. But we sharpened it, and of course, at the end of the live stream, we stropped it half to death, partly to get that rollout and partly to see how well it would respond to the strop, because that was one of the things that was also explained to me, is this stuff strops up really, really well. And of course, I'm using diamond paste from Temu and not an emulsion, so I'm not getting, you know, 100% out of these strops, but, you know, it's definitely sharp. Like, it's sharpened back up nicely. It'll shave again. It's not the best shave that I've gotten out of a knife I just sharpened, but it will shave. So, you know, it definitely stropped up fast. Like, if you're doing field maintenance on this thing, you'd have to carry a strop, and you might want to carry like a semi-rough stone or something like that. But, you know, it's again, like, I've had better steel for that, and you know, it's not that damn expensive. You know, for $23.47, you know, it's kind of hard to really beat it down too much, but that soft blade steel, I couldn't in a good conscience recommend anyone buy. It looks cool, it's a cool concept, a cool idea, and like 8CR13 would have been better for this. Or, you know, I probably would have picked a 9CR for something like this. I'm not sure what it would have done to the cost. I don't know how the cost would scale up to 9CR or something like that. Like, those steels, the pricing on them's all over the place. So, you know, it was an interesting experience. It was interesting seeing it degrade the way it did. It was interesting seeing the edge roll. You know, and I haven't seen 18 degrees be too fine for anything yet, but here we are. So, like, I said, I wouldn't recommend buying this unless you just really, really want the concept of the 1911 scales, all that stuff. It's just not there, and that sucks. I love my cold steels, but they kind of took a swing and a miss on this one. It's again, that stainless has no business being on something with an edge this fine. It just doesn't, and I can't see really carrying a pocket knife where you have to put it at like 22 degrees for it to be stable. So yeah, you know, I like sharing the experience of Cardboard Slayer and the aftermath of said experience, so I'm sharing this with you now. But yeah, it was weird. But all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all are still coming in. We're on the road to 2,000 right now. I've got 4 knives to give away when we hit 2,000. So, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Try to win yourself a knife. And you guys, I thank you so much for being here in the first place. Comments, I love some feedback. If you know more about the 4116 than I do, or why it would be here, please let me know, or, you know, what you think about this thing. But all that being said, y'all have a nice day.